What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your review for Power Book 2 Go, Season 4, Episode 7, I think. Y'all, when they first announced that the show was being canceled, I kind of was like, dang, am I ready for this show to end? I am. I'm ready for it to end. This episode, we start off with Diana in the hospital. Tariq is with her. She wakes up. Tariq says, I'm sorry, Diana. So we know she's lost the baby, okay? So basically everything there were two events that happened in last week's episode that pretty much controlled this entire episode. So Diana losing her baby and Kamal Tate dying controlled everything else that happened in this episode. Diana's mad at Tariq because she said you weren't there to protect me. You said that being in the game was going to protect us. Well, being in the game is that what happened. If I'm being fair, and I'll be the last person to defend Tariq, but Tariq being in the game this time ain't had nothing to do with your baby. Your mama and Carter, your mama trying to rob Noma, getting hemmed up by Carter, some dirty cops, is what led to this. Okay. Now you calling Tariq to do what Officer Crackhead told you to do is really what led to this. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not justifying what Officer Crackhead did. Okay. So, Tariq calls Monet. Monet gets there and she basically tells Tariq, I got it. Stay out of it. Because honestly, at this point, Monet is still trying to protect Kane, and it seemed like she was still sort of kind of trying to protect Tariq, because she was like, Tariq don't need to know what's going on with Carter. We don't need more people involved in this than have to be. So, but of course, Tariq is like, hell nah, that was my baby too. I'ma handle it. Monet was like, we got it. Diana wants to handle it. Drew wants to handle it. Kane wants to handle it. Kane comes down to the hospital. Now, I don't know who the hell called Kane. Tariq certainly didn't call Kane. Well, maybe he did. But I don't know who called Kane. But somehow Kane ended up at the hospital. Monet told Kane mind his business because she don't want him to get involved. Tariq calls Davis because he wants Davis to get him information on Carter's officers because he's trying to get her at the address to Officer Crackhead. Davis tells him, listen, this probably ain't the best way to handle it. You can't just be running around New York killing cops. Since when? I mean, hasn't Tariq killed DEA agents? Like, since when? Okay. So while this is going on, Tate is down at the morgue identifying his brother's body. Carter is there acting like, yeah, we're going to find who did this. Yeah, Now, a part of me feels like Tate ain't buying the act, but I don't think Tate doesn't feel like he's the one that did it. Because Tate was like, look, we all know Tate was a dirty cop. So I just feel like one dirty cop identifies another dirty cop. But again, obviously he doesn't suspect that Carter was the one that actually, unalived his brother. So Carter promises Tate that they'll avenge his brother's death, and he tells him that it was the Russians. Okay. He tells his squad the same thing, that it was the Russians. Now, Officer Crackhead don't feel no kind of way about it. She was like, oh, well, we told him to stay out of our way. He didn't stay out of our way, and he got what he got. I don't feel no kind of way about it. And Carter is like, what you talking about? Like, he was an officer. He was a cop. Like the rest of us. Like, we're going to give him some respect. Now, Carter's other lieutenant was like, yeah, that's kind of cold. Like, he was still one of us. Now, Carter's other lieutenant, by the end of this episode, I feel like he side-eyeing Carter too, but we'll get there, child. We'll get there. So, Davis meets up with Noma, because Noma is like, listen, I still need you to find me another dirty politician that's going to help me get these contracts that I need to get. And Davis is like, well, first of all, dirty politicians don't come a dime a dozen. Like, I sent you one on a silver platter, and we know what happened to him. So I'm not sure how fast I can get you, somebody else. Okay. he was like, plus, citizenship is an issue. The other guy was willing to overlook it, but I don't know. Like, you still need to figure out a way that you're going to become a legitimate citizen here in the United States. Now, her and Davis end up sleeping together, right? And of course, Davis, Kane rolls in while Noma is still in her robe, and Davis ties, all crooked to the side. So of course, Davis gonna let Kane know what it is, but Kane really ain't tripping because Kane is sniffing around Effie again. So Kane really ain't tripping too much. Kane just don't want to be embarrassed and be treated like he's a child, like I'm your employee, so he say. Tariq goes back to the dorm room. He all huffing and puffing. He going to get his weapon. Of course, Braden is sleeping on the couch talking about some, damn, how bad did I mess up last night? Tariq can't even deal with the fact that you crackhead, that you over there cracking out. He was like, look, Diana done lost the baby. I need to go handle it. And of course, Braden tells Tariq the same thing that everybody, like that David tried to tell him, like, look, that's probably not the best thing right now. And of course, Tariq ain't really trying to hear nothing Braden got to say. And Braden was like, listen, if you ain't going to listen to me, that's fine. But you need to listen to somebody. So if you ain't going to listen to me, I need you to listen to somebody. So he said, you need to go talk to somebody you trust. We're going to get to that in a minute. Well, while this is going on, the band, I guess he's the manager of the band, he comes in and tells them that they're fired. He said, listen, after, Braden showed his ass on stage last night, like, we voted y'all out. Like, we don't want y'all promoting our shows no more. And don't think we stupid. Like, we absolutely know that y'all been using us as a way to, promote your drugs on campus. Like, we not stupid. And at this point, we don't know if those people there are actually fans or fiends. And so, of course, Tariq is like, today ain't the day, and I don't have the energy for it. So Tariq tried to whoop his tail. Braden breaks it up, and that's pretty much it. And he's like, listen, I'm not scared of either one of y'all. Okay, but you still fired. Tariq is like, listen, I don't even have time to deal with that right now. I gotta go find this cop and avenge the death of my baby. Okay, then. Okay. So, down at the jail, Drew is protecting one of the guys that the dude he's supposed to be taking out is hassling. I ain't gonna drag this out because I don't have the energy for this episode to be dragging none of this out, okay? Long story short, Drew got the dude he was supposed to get to silence Carter. And basically, he told Carter, listen, I did what you needed me to do now. You need to keep up your end of the deal. But of course, as soon as he gets out of jail, he gets all the missed calls from Monet telling him what happened to Diana. So, of course, he's like, oh, shit. I already know how Monet rolling. And Diana calls him, or he calls her, and she tells him the same thing she told everybody else. But you wasn't there to protect me. So, anyway, we're going to get back to that. But I just had to get that out the way because that whole situation was so stupid to me that Drew is sitting in jail and he gonna take out somebody that could put Carter in jail and get him off of all of y'all back. But whatever, child. Whatever. Moving on. So Monet goes to meet with Carter and basically tries to threaten him like, listen, I told you to look out. I told you that I don't play with my kids. And, your cop took my grandbaby. So basically you need to let me handle that. Now, honestly, that's old school, right? Like, I feel like in Power Book 1, that play would have worked. I feel like in Raising Kanan, that book would have worked. Hell, maybe even Force, that book would work. But Carter was like, yeah, that's not what we're doing. Like, I'll take care of my cops because, first of all, I didn't know she did it. And she didn't do it like I didn't tell her to do it. So, yeah, we're not playing that game. Monet had already told Diana to stand down, okay? Monet told Diana to stand down. Diana ain't listening to nobody. She like, look, I got to handle it and I got to do it myself. That was my baby. That was my baby. I got to do it myself. So Diana goes into, I'm all over the place with this episode, so just work with me. Diana goes into Monet's closet. Monet, you didn't change your combination on your lock the last time Diana broke into it. She still know the combination to your lock, to your safe. She still can get into your safe and get your weapon. You didn't change it the last time they went in. Okay, then. All right. So Diana got Monet's weapon, and she out trying to avenge the death. Down to the police station, Carter confronts Officer Crackhead. And Officer Crackhead first tries to deny that she had anything to do with the Diana situation, but then she goes on and admits it. And then he was like, well, she was pregnant. You know she was pregnant? Of course I didn't know. You knew she was pregnant. You absolutely knew she was pregnant. But then she ends up confessing everything to Carter about Zion, about him sending Diana to go take out Zion and how Tariq did it and all of that. Now, in that moment, to be perfectly honest with you, if I were Officer Carter, I would have sent the text to Monet and all I would have said was green light. Because honestly, at this point, she done try to get all of y'all hemmed up. She done tried to get all of y'all hemmed up. So at this point, that is absolutely, do what you gotta do. Cause, and then she said that she wiped the service clean of the video from the house, but she got the only copy. He gonna say, let me hold on to this. I'll take care of it. That, I really expected him to tell Monet she was good. I'm gonna be honest with you. When he said, I'm gonna hold on to this, and told her to go home and don't go nowhere till he sent for her, I just knew he was about to send Monet a text saying green light. But he didn't. So, whatever. Let's keep going. Now, back down to the college where nobody goes to class anymore. Brayden is stressing over the fact that they don't have nowhere to sell their product no more. Effie and Kane have come up with this bright idea because Noma basically told Kane, find out who is snitching on me. Because every time I make a move, somebody is right there. So find out who robbed me. Find out who got to the Russians first. Like somebody, and she's side-eyeing Effie a little bit. And Kane was like, you know it's not Effie. You know it's not Effie. So Kane tells Effie, listen, we know we need to figure out what's going on with Carter and his task force. And I need you to get into the server and do what you do. And she was like, well, I need a cop's laptop. I can't do it without a cop's laptop. Now, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with y'all and tell y'all, I don't even know how they chose which cop. They go to Brayden and tell Brayden they need a favor. And Brayden was like, well, if I do this favor for you, I need my territory back. And Effie was like, you can have it. You can have this school and you can have all of the Ivy Leagues because I'm out. Like, I'm doing this so I can get out. So I can head out to Stanford and do what I do and get the hell away from here. Now, before I forget, let me say this. I'm a little all over the place, but work with me. I'm not understanding how we wrapping everything up in 3 episodes because literally, while Effie is moving around in this episode, we see her get a call from her mama. Now, in 4 seasons of Ghost and 3 seasons of Power she was in and out of, we ain't never met her mama. We ain't never seen her mama. Her mama has been somebody she talks about. Why all of a sudden now we see her getting phone calls from her mama? Why would you even introduce anything dealing with her family now? We ain't been seeing them. I'm just not understanding where we're going with this situation. But moving right along. Well, when after Officer Carter sent Officer Crackhead home, or Detective Carter, whatever he is, child, sent Officer Crackhead home, we see that Diana is in the parking lot and Diana ends up following her. So Diana then followed Officer Crackhead home. Davis did have the address for Tariq, but by the time Davis sent Tariq the address, he didn't want it anymore. Why? Because Tariq went to go find his mama. Listen, I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of Tariq and his mama. Like, they not even pretending anymore. Like, at least in the first couple of seasons, we pretended like Tariq had to have this secret burner phone and his mama had to call him and they didn't know and he wasn't sure. Now he just showing up at her doorstep. She moved, he there. Like, they not even pretending anymore. And again, that is just not even how witness protection works. Like, she'd have been kicked out of witness protection unless somebody is protecting her. And I know y'all don't want me to talk about that, so I'm not. Moving right along. So, he goes to visit his mama, and he tells his mama about the baby, yada, 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 yada. And basically, his mama tells him, listen, you got to stay out of that. Like, let that family handle their business. Like, I get it. I know you feel some kind of way, but you got to let that family handle their business. Like, you got to stay as far away from that as possible because you're supposed to be putting plans in place so we can come home. Like, you supposed to be moving your chess pieces to make sure that me and your sister can come out of hiding and live amongst the living again. So all of this that you doing with the Tejadas, let the Tejadas deal with the Tejada business. He was like, you right, Mom, you right. So again, by the time he leave his mama house, he don't want the address no more. And he ain't gonna, go after, Officer Crackhead Child. It's a mess. Now, while this is going on, Braden, Kane, and Effie done faked their way into an officer's house so they could get access to the police computer. Effie, of course, works her 1-2 magic. They try to make it all suspenseful and stuff, but I just didn't care. Because it just was stupid. Where they get a police officer outfit for Kane that fit? Like, there couldn't have been another way for y'all to get this. Like, there was no other way for Effie to get access to the computer program. But neither here nor there. They get what they need. And next thing you know, Effie is able to get Kane. They're not able to find the name of a potential informant that was tipping Carter's crew off. But he was able to connect the dots and figure out that Officer Crackhead was the person that caused Diana to lose the baby. While this is going on, Carter done put a raid on some random Russian dude to try to make it seem like he was the one that killed Kamal, so they'll get Senator Tate off of his arse. So they set this dude up. They raid the apartment, and of course, Carter, gets rid of him and then plants the gun on him that Carter used to take care of Kamal so the ballistics would match, so they would make it look like it was him. And Carter basically slipped up when his lieutenant asked, are you sure this is him? Are you sure this is him? And he was like, does it matter? Just do what I told you to do, because the ballistics are going to match, and that'll get Carter off, and that'll get Tate off our ass. So I feel like he knew at that point that that's not who really killed Kamal. Now, again, I don't know if he suspects that it's Carter, but he definitely suspects that it's not the dude that's laying on the ground with the gun in his hand, okay? Now, while this is going on, Diana done rolled up on Officer Crackhead at her house. She ends up taking Officer Crackhead out. They fighting, they scuffling and all of that. Well, guess what? Officer Crackhead got a baby. Well, a child, a toddler. The toddler wakes up because the toddler hears all the commotion. So she calls Tariq to come and help her. So Tariq comes over to the house, and that's when she shows Tariq the baby. So they're literally sitting in the middle of this woman's hallway, having a conversation about what to do about the baby and the body downstairs. Mind you, so they're downstairs, and then now the baby's awake talking about mommy. So now the baby done seen both of them. So Diana reads him a book to put him back to sleep. Yeah, she reads him a bedtime story. Puts him back to sleep. Now, I'm not advocating that they should have done anything to that child. Let's be clear. But the minute Diana saw that there was a child in that house, why are you still in that house? Even if you called Tariq to the house, why are you still in the house? Why aren't you sitting in the car outside until Tariq show up? Y'all could have had that same conversation outside to figure out what to do. Then here come Monet, because Monet done went to the house and realized that Diana done stole her gun. I guess Monet knew the address, so Monet shows up. Now, while all of this is going on, because now the three of them are sitting there trying to figure out what to do, Monet finally says, look, y'all go, I'll take care of it. Next thing you know, here come Drew walking in the door, and who's behind him? Officer Carter. So now all five of them, or is it six? I done lost count at this point, are sitting in this lady's living room with her dead body in the kitchen and her sleeping child upstairs talking about what they gonna do. And basically Carter was like, Well, if Drew hadn't made a deal with me, all of y'all would basically, would be gone at this point. He saved y'all because he told me the truth about who them drugs belong to, even though you lied to me. I was really watching this episode like, you have really got to be shitting me right now. Like, none of this makes any sense to me at this point. Because now you know that it was Noma's drugs instead of the Russians. Why does it fucking matter? Now, while all of this is going on, Effie and Kane are getting closer. Like, they trying to rekindle that old thing. So Kane goes over to Noma's house to give Noma the information about Carter being a dirty cop. And he proposes to Noma, literally. Because Noma is still trying to figure out citizenship. So he decides, well, let's get married. I mean, but if we get married, I'm no longer your employee. We're equal now. So the two of them end up having sex while Effie is at his apartment waiting for him. And then Effie gets up to leave. That's what her mama calls. Y'all, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Listen, we got 2 more episodes left and then the finale. And at this point, okay. Because I'm really interested to see how we're going to wrap all of this up. Because after they had a whole convention in that lady's living room with the baby upstairs sleep, after Dinah read that baby a bedtime story, like, I don't know what y'all want me to do with this storyline y'all giving me. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode. I don't have nothing more. That's it. That's all I got. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.